ShrinkRAP on ReShrinking the podcast, the bonus episodes where we go deep on one aspect of the show Shrinking from Apple TV Plus. And this first one is a doozy. I'm your host, Holly Hurley Feather.
And I'm your host, Karina Cooper.
And I'm your guest host, Allyson Fanger, and guest host, Dana Cartini.
So, as you can hear from our intro, we have not one, but two special co-hosts to this episode of ShrinkRAP. First up is Allyson Fanger. Allyson Fanger is a 5-time Emmy-nominated costume designer based in Los Angeles, and those are primetime Emmy nominations. She is best known for her work on Shrinking, of course, and also the popular Netflix series Grace and Frankie, starring Jane Fonda. Other recent work includes the Peacock limited series Apples Never Fall, starring Annette Bening, films such as 80 for Brady, starring Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, Sally Field, and Rita Moreno, and Mac and Rita, starring Diane Keaton. Her decade-long career in television includes Fox's Fantasy Island, ABC's The Fix, and Paramount's Nobodies, as well as ABC Family's Melissa and Joey. She brought with her today Dana Cartini, fabulous Dana Cartini, who works with her on Shrinking. Dana has also worked on series like The Fabelmans, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Making It, Wine Country, The Good Place, and also Switched at Birth. So guys, we are chock-a-block full of talent and super excited to welcome these two. So without further ado, let's talk about that.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Y'all, we got wardrobe in the house today. We are so excited. I know fans of the show will know that we talk about wardrobe constantly. It's kind of our favorite part of the show. And so we approached you guys first for our very first ReShrinking the ShrinkRAP. So thank you very much for joining us.
Amazing. Thank you for having us.
Yay. So Allyson, tell us a little bit about how you approach these characters and their journey with your wardrobe.
Well, it always starts with a well-written script, which obviously the show is extremely well-written. And whenever I first get a script, for a preliminary meeting, when I meet with like EPs and sometimes cast members to discuss ideas, the process, it varies depending on the project, but basically I get a script. And if it's a really good, well-written script, I can see all the characters coloring it in my head as I read it, and I start to get ideas just come in because they're fully formed sometimes. And even there's been sometimes when I'll be in a meeting and I'll be like, I couldn't really get a read. And they're like, yeah, we know now. Like they know, like if they haven't fleshed out a character completely, then I can't flesh out a character completely, all the nuances and the personality bits and the history and the geographic location and the socioeconomic status and their job or not, or whatever it is, all of that is going to inform how I'm going to dress a certain character and how much information I'm going to give them. And then I make visual boards, and then we go over visual boards with the EPs and make any adjustments if they're feeling like it's in a, more in one direction, less in one direction. I'll usually give a little bit of like a range. A lot of times we'll be like, this could be the furthest, the less. And I really need, like, for my process, I don't really fully know until I'm in that room with that actor. So especially for preliminary fittings, we'll get a lot of stuff and we just see what works, because you need to lean in also into what that actor brings to the character, right? So ultimately my job is to, help that actor feel that part as best they can also, because what you wear matters so much, like it's just clothes is not something we say around here. I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's like, it matters so much. It's like, it gives you all the confidence, all the presence. You feel good in your skin. You feel well-defined, and like, that's what we're doing here is well-defining. Like all of our characters in Shrinking, we have 8 people that are all main cast members. That's a large group of main cast members. And they're all extremely well-defined because that's what we do. And they all like, also some people will bring more, like if someone needs an edge, say, for instance, you know, some actors, some people are just edgy by nature and they don't need my help as much to get there, you know? So we might pull back a little bit on it and let them fill all that in
Oh,
because it just balances better. And then there'll be some people, sometimes you'll get an actor and they don't have a lot of natural edge. So we will help them along. You know, we'll help them get to the biggest compliment I've ever get is when an actor says to me, "Thank you for helping me find my character today." You know, and that happens. That happens. Sometimes they don't know. You know, they're like they're putting on a persona that is not them too. So it all has to work together.
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And I
Yeah.
imagine that someone like Jessica is just so fun to dress. I imagine that would be so fun. She's like a real life Barbie doll. I would have so much
Yeah.
fun with that.
I'll tell her you said that. She
Oh,
will then.
good. Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fun. You know, and a lot of actors like Krista and I are collaborators on Liz. You know, she brought some elements to Liz that I wouldn't have. I definitely brought elements to Liz that she wouldn't have. We worked really to get well together and have created this like very cool, kind of iconic, aspirational, you know, a very cool 50-year-old mom in LA. And like, I don't know, I've been in LA for a while, so I'm a mom, so I've known a lot of moms, right? So I brought in a lot of those pieces, and
Yeah.
then I don't know, we work together really well, and she's just like cool.
She is
And
ultra cool Gen X. I love her
yeah,
vibe. That's the closet I would raid. If
Oh,
I
yeah,
could raid, it would be Liz.
Oh my God, me
yeah,
too.
she's-
Especially she like the black bras are
yeah,
like such an intentional choice to like pull through
mm,
her edge in like, you know, because she does
totally.
the, you know, the shirts with the intentional stitching, you know, that show where the words are written in the stitching.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
that because that's
Yeah,
very like
that's the lingua franca. Like we work closely with a lot of brands too. Like
Oh,
Krista's
mhm.
got like some brand connections. I've got a lot of brand connections. People want to be on the show now, like the brands. So we working directly, and they'll do custom things for us. And a lot of those ones that we did. You guys are talking about season 1 still, right?
Oh,
Or
We
like
just completed season 1, but you can talk about
yeah,
whatever you would like to. We're just so
'cause
glad you're
se-
here.
yeah, because season 3, when we first started season 3, we were in prep like right about now again. And that's when the fires broke out in Los Angeles.
Oh,
So
that's devastating.
it was crazy. It was like, I remember sitting here and Lori was like, one of our she was like, there's gonna be high winds tomorrow. And we were like, oh, uh-oh. And we were shopping in Beverly Hills. Yeah. And we were like, there's fires everywhere. We need to go home. So, you know, no one came in for days after that. I don't know how long it was. Couple of days. And we were delayed. And anyway, because we shoot in Pasadena and Altadena, and that's where most of they're in Palisades. Anyway, so we got really like, since it was prep and we were like, there was so much like LAFD pride and Pasadena and Altadena economic rebuild, that we integrated a lot of like kind of Easter eggs and also support merchandise for Altadena smaller businesses, Pasadena smaller businesses. Yeah. And Krista was very much behind that also. And then we did, you know, a lot of kind of LAFD pride moments, like t-shirts.
Yeah.
And Lingua Franca was making these I Love LA sweaters, chain stitch sweaters. So
yeah,
that's part of that. But
saw
I also
that
like
on
words
Liz.
and graphics a lot. Like, I mean, if you guys watch the show, you know.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. It keeps it as interesting as an overall visual, you know.
Oh, it's very interesting. And I often wonder about the psychological aspects of the show where your various characters are going through some turmoil, and wonder how that plays into some of that for you, where they might not be as vibrant one day because they're having an issue, and just kind of what goes into that.
Yeah. Well, when we started the season, and we talked about this in the very first initial meeting. Since you guys are on season 1, I'll talk about season 1 because it all started there and it has continued through. I love that in a show when like you get these character concepts and they are consistent. I mean, we refresh and renew our boards, but people get into like they've got a look, you know, and they kind of do stay in their look, and it should stay consistent. I don't ever like someone to show up and all of a sudden be a different person. We started with Jimmy. To your point about emotional arc, yes, we do. And we do it a lot. We do it a lot with color because that's the easiest, not in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are registering it, but maybe they're like consciously registering it. It's
Right,
like this,
exactly.
that, or so like Jimmy in the pilot was in a really bad place, obviously. And his sweater was like quite aged and it had a little hole in it. And his palette was like very muted. And it wasn't just in the costumes, but it was also on the walls in the house. Everything and the way it was lit. It's like everything in his world was very muted and gray. He had no vibrancy. He kind of lost his like zest for life, basically. He was sort of wasting his days away. And that's why we did that thing with Gabby. We're like, she was like the light,
Yes,
she was the life and color and hope and fun, and all of that. And that's why we did so much fun. That's where a lot of that idea for the fun color came. But we also, like with Jessica, also collaborator with me, really, we discussed her character being for a younger generation, like the therapist you send your, non-binary child to, like kind of like East Side LA therapist. So we talked about her accessibility in that way, and also like being cool lady that people would trust in the room, So
Absolutely.
That's why we did that with her too.
Yeah.
Well, and I love you brought up Jimmy because, early on when we were going through the episodes together, Karina mentioned that Jimmy, it almost is like he aspires to kind of a Mr. Rogers-esque kind of vibe. He does a sweater over a button up, a cardigan over a button up almost every day. But the way that you guys brought through the care he takes in the sizing, in the like care of whether or not it's ironed or whether or not it's the right size or whether or not it's, a little oversized, a little undersized, or it kind of hugs him, you can really get a feel for how he felt when he woke up in the morning or, or maybe was still up from the night before, by the state of his clothing.
Totally. And we do a lot of some, flashbacks. We did one in season 3. We cut from the past to the present day, really see the sadness and the happiness difference there.
Yes. And then you throw Gabby in when she's bright and hopeful. And it's just as if just emphasize that. It's lovely. It's like a whole choreography. And I think it's just really remarkable. I have to ask you, do you have, of all the like costume rules and stuff that people are supposed to follow, or fashion rules, do you have a favorite one that you love to break?
A rule?
Yeah.
Fashion rules. I don't like rules in general.
So all of them.
Have never been my thing. Ask my mom.
Okay, good.
She'll tell you.
That's a great answer. I love
never
that.
a rule follower, and I think I still am not. And I just don't like to follow. And that is why I think my characters are so interesting, because I just think that they look dimensional and real and flawed and detailed. To me, the biggest thing you can do is bring detail in. I'm trying to think of a rule.
Yeah.
Do I have a rule?
I mean, there's definitely things that as we're like our whole team, it knows, like, as we all work together for so many years, like what Allyson will like.
I hate zippers on polos.
No zipper polos. That's really specific.
That's my rule.
But in general, I don't think people realize like Allyson is picking out every single piece that you see on that screen from head to toe, the socks that you maybe never see. Like if the shot is from Europe, but like
The shoelaces,
bag charms, like it is so detailed. And that's like Allyson's bringing that to every character. And that's why it's so successful. And it says something like right away. Like that's the whole thing is like, we always say like, you should be able to look at somebody and within 1 second know who they are.
Yeah.
And that's what costumes do.
Yeah. Because people like to bring details. But as far as like I think the question was about the fashion rules.
yeah.
But no, I like that you don't use it. But like I don't do is there anything that I ever say that in the room like we can't put that with that? Like I don't even care about like shoes matching bags. I don't even like that.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to think like a weird fashion rule, like no white after Labor Day. Like,
That's
no,
what I was thinking
no,
of.
never.
Yeah.
No,
Or
no.
don't-
I would say that my biggest rule is don't have rules.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's my rule. Don't have rules.
Don't have rules.
Don't have rules.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because in a fitting, you'll always try something. You'll be like, let's try it, like, which is cool. Like,
Yeah.
because you don't have rules,
Yeah.
we might try something a little weird, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I like to do a cool shoe. Like I like to throw a shoe curveball in.
Like the hottest shit shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just don't like to have anything be too prescriptive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be predictable. That would be my rule too. I guess.
that.
I love that too. And I think you see that the most in Alice's wardrobe because Lukita Maxwell is young. And I've noticed too that you guys have done a really beautiful job of balancing that she's at that young age. And and again, you see the evolution of her happiness, but also especially and no spoilers for everybody else, but in the second and third season, she starts really going for stuff. You see her in jorts with things hanging out, and you see her with like, even in her real life, it seems like Lukita really loves that kind of, like we did in the late 90s, like the slips in the early 2000s, like the old slips, like vintage slips as dresses. And then she's doing this beautiful 1920s stuff. Yeah. With her hair. And I love that you see her finally like breaking out and trying stuff.
Yeah. Well, she's getting older.
Yeah.
And she is going to college at a very specific school because I just know people that go there.
Well, Bill Lawrence for one, right?
Famously. I have daughters and they're in their 20s, early 20s. And so I know those teenage girls in Los Angeles really, really well. And I know the going off to college thing. And I know the putting on some new looks thing and like trying on being older, trying on being independent, trying on individual style where like when she was in high school is sort of more homogenous style because they're also like, we want to just be wearing what each other are wearing a little bit, security blanket. Then as they're getting closer to going to college, they're like trying on these new identities sort of, like individuating themselves more.
Yeah.
So that's what we did with her. That's what we did.
I've never heard that put that way, but that is exactly it.
Yeah, you're trying to fit in high school, sort of, and then you want to stand out when you go to college.
Yeah, they're all like Randy in high school, and then they like kind of start wearing vintage. And so that's what we did with Alice, and she's so great. And Lukita, I say like Lukita, this is so not her style, like her personal style. She's very sort of like Yoji Yamamoto. She's very like interesting, like asymmetrical or like architectural fashion, like Japanese stuff. Like it is even like that's more her personal vibe. She's like very like edgy, and we made her this very like LA girl, but she's so like, I just love how she puts it on and just like makes it work and trusts us. That's my biggest hurdle. In every new show is getting to trust, once you've got the trust of the actors that they know you're going to take care of them. Because like what Dana said is like, I'm so detail oriented and I'm just like really care so much. And like, they know that and they feel taken care of and they feel trusted. And they also can see like, they like the way they look. So that's helpful too. But getting to trust is like, I'd say it's like 50% of it. Once I have trust, it's so much easy. It's easy.
Well, I think you feel that in this series more than in some others. And I don't know that I would have been able to put words to it before, but they do feel, you can tell they feel comfortable in the clothes. Like I think of someone like Luke Tenney, right? Who's a bigger guy. He'd be tough to dress, right? Big broad shoulders, nice and tall, right? Yeah. It's so hard to dress a guy like that in a way where he can feel comfortable. My husband is also 6'4", 260, right? So like, it's hard to dress that guy in something he can feel good in, but also that looks sharp. And the way that you guys have given him like colorscapes and like given him just like a real story with his clothing that's bright and bold and like, and really evolved throughout the show is incredible because you can see how good he feels. I mean, it comes through in his smile. It comes through in the way he moves in the clothing. Like it really does. It's next level. And I think that's got to be a part of it. You talked about it being a collaboration. And I don't know if every wardrober thinks of it that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
they do. It's such an important part of the storytelling, and like that's what we're about. We're about the psychological issues that are brought forward in the show, and the
Mhm.
way the story is told, and how every department has a role to play. And wardrobe has done an amazing, just epic job in the show. We just love it so much.
Thank you. I'm so happy you guys like it and appreciate it. It gets a lot of good feedback for sure.
Oh, good.
People really are inspired. And also, I think the biggest thing I hear from people is that they really appreciate all the definite character definition,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, and it really brings to life, like, I think one of the beautiful stories. I mean, this is what both, I think this is probably why Bill and Brett found each other, right? Because this is kind of what they do best are these ensemble casts that have such specific narratives and are from such different places. And have
Mhm.
each of them, like you talked about, you have 8 characters that are main characters, but they all have complete arcs. You don't feel like anybody got left in the sidelines. You don't feel like anybody got left untied, and with the wardrobe, you don't feel like anybody's a second thought. It's
Right.
not, oh, that shirt
Exactly.
might have been on Jimmy last time, but now we've got it on Ted. You don't see that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
You're
know
right.
that everybody was carefully crafted
Mm,
and really thought about.
Mhm.
And
Totally.
I wonder, working in an environment like that, do you find it's more challenging or less challenging than working with like a situation where you have like a main guy and a main gal kind of traditional sense?
I like it. I love this show because of I think the most unhappy I ever was on a show was when it was like a bunch of lawyers because I just was like, I'm bored.
Yawn.
I'm bored. I just want I because they're in a businessy corporate world
Mhm.
where everybody sort of has to look very in a certain box of look. And that is like no fun to me at all.
Yeah.
Like I love finding like weird brands and niche moments for each of my characters and giving them all that fun identity. So this is the best for me. Like I love a show like this. I also did Grace and Frankie for
Yes.
Oh, Grace and Frankie. Oh man, I was hoping
that.
you would bring that up because I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that show. And talk about two, and I mean all the characters, right? You've got the June and
Yeah.
Raphael vibes that are coming into that. You've got the difference between Grace and Frankie and the way that they dress and the way
Yeah.
that they approach the
Yeah.
world because they're so very different. I mean,
Yeah.
those
Mhm.
costumes were incredible, and I love
Yeah.
the treatment of the boys. Just Ethan and
Was
they were
it?
so good.
I wondered about
Yeah.
that. If it was difficult to find that dress with such iconic older actors, that is like,
Oh,
Like Jane Fonda,
I
you're
know.
not dressing these Joe
I
Schmoes out here.
I know.
yeah.
I really have had like the most amazing people to work with, honestly. And it's funny, the more Liz continues on, the more, and I haven't really drawn this comparison yet, like to anybody except you guys, I'm going to. One of the things that people love so much about Frankie was that she transcended age in her look, that it wasn't about, she wasn't dressing for her age ever. She was dressing for her spirit. That's what we do with Krista too. Like, it's not about her age. It's about just like who she is, as like really exhibits her personality,
Yeah.
her like irreverence, her boldness, her like little sassiness, her edge, her heart, like all of those things that make Liz are all there
Yeah.
in her clothes too. And that's what we did with Frankie. And, that was talked a lot about with Lily Tomlin and Frankie because she was so much older, and wore like overalls and kooky stuff. And she wasn't just a hippie. She was like a free spirited artist,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
wasn't something at all that you could put in a box. There was
Yeah.
and it wasn't aged, like she wasn't aged at all. That I thought that was really skillfully done.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
Yeah.
so that was like, I feel like that's what we're doing with Liz too. Just like for someone that's, not 70, she's 50. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I think that's why people respond to her, is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
same way.
oh, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got to ask you. I did warn you guys a little bit on the call. The first like harbinger for me of, oh shoot, the wardrobe on this show is going to be tight as heck was Grace. Because when Grace first walked in, we see her in these dresses that are floral, almost kind of little girly, but then also like overly sexualized in certain places.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
fit changes depending on how she feels. So like when you were dressing these clients, when you're dressing the actual like patients, of how did you approach that? Because I mean, you really had to make a quick impact and tell us a lot about the character in a very short amount of time. And they too got their own arcs, right? And so it's like you can't be any less intentional. And I would love to know what that process looked like, because it had to have been quicker.
I kind of want to speak to this. This is something that's really cool, because like even when we get day cast in, which is somebody who they maybe only have one line, we'll get a script, they have one line, and we sit and we talk about who is this person, every single character. Obviously top 8 gets so much of our attention, but it is like we will like we're coming up with their story from maybe they're sitting in their I mean Wally has a longer arc, but
we love Wally.
Got a whole look, but like we love Wally. But from Wally to any other patient or anybody in the show, it's like we're like, who are they? Where are they shopping? What kind of person are they? Every single character that comes across, even if it's like person at food truck. Yeah, we're like, oh, they live in Pasadena, and they
The person that said that.
the person that's mean to Liz.
Yeah. The person that's mean to Liz.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we do, like,
were they mean to Liz, or were they just or
Not mean. Because she was mean to them. Yes.
That episode was so much fun.
It was, great.
Because you're like, that was the appropriate response.
but we back, if we don't get it from the writers, we backstory it ourselves.
Yeah, we just make it.
But we have
That's
to give
awesome.
them but we do try to get it from the writers. We can't always get it from the writers, but sometimes they're like,
Yeah. But it's never like to call it back, it's never just clothes.
yeah, it's never just clothes.
It's a person, it's a character.
Yeah.
It's a person. It has like who are they? What's their job? Sometimes all I need to know is what's their job.
Yeah.
Where they
And you
work.
often will ask the writers, even for the smallest character, you'll try to be like, ask that information.
Yeah.
You'll
And they usually they don't throw people in. Like here's the thing: is they're not throwing people in for no reason. Like what's the reason for that person being there? Like they're bringing something to the story. What is that?
Yeah.
I want to know what that is so that I can then help that along.
Yeah.
Help tell the story.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
I
we're
think-
doing.
Wonderful.
Oh man, so successfully. I mean, even with, no spoilers for people, but with Maya, who was with us for such a short time in season 3. I mean,
Yeah.
Sherry's wardrobe just did it slayed. I mean, it worked for her so hard. Like I literally was like, oh no, this is going to be another love interest. Like, ooh, what's up here? Because she was so
Great.
interesting, and she was also to Jessica Williams' character. So it was like really important that you saw her. You know.
Totally. I just I don't know. That was another one where we're like, who's this? Like, what have we not done yet? Like, sometimes it's like we want it to be very identifiable and unique person to our world, right?
Yeah.
So we worked hard to find the right mode of this character, and we've gotten great response. I do a lot of posting of the looks on the shows, and I do get a lot of people love Maya. I have a shop Maya that links looks for the show, so people can shop the looks, because I get a lot of people asking me about that. So
cool.
it's like consolidation of that into one place, and people were asking for Maya, which no one's ever asked for a day cast person before.
Yeah.
But we did a Maya page.
That's
I was
awesome.
yeah, sure. It was cause, and I was it wasn't expensive either. That was not very because day cast. So when I'm breaking down my budget for my episode, we all know I'm going to spend the most money on my on my mains. So when it comes to day cast, we get kind of creative. So she turned out so well, though. It was
But
good.
that was interesting, because what you talked about before, we read the script and we have a character Maya, and then once they cast Sherry, then it comes together, because we get the script with daycast before casting.
Yeah.
And when we often are waiting for casting, because we can't really start shopping.
We don't have sizes.
We don't have sizes, but even again, who are they?
Sometimes we don't get them until the cast until
The day before.
the day before. And then we are I have my well, you guys might Tasha the day. She's an incredible shopper. And I'll do a board for something like that. I'll do a visual board for a day for day cast people. We knew she had a significant arc, right?
Yeah, she had to have very big impact in a very
Just
short time.
breaks my heart even to just think about her. I got all quiet
Right.
because I'm so sad.
Everybody, I mean, the whole world collectively is sad about that. I mean, for all the reasons.
Yeah.
They're such a good cast. Oh, what While we're talking about your socials, let's plug this in the middle. I would love for people to learn how to follow you, because I bet you I'm not the first person to be like, ooh, I can shop this look. So I want to know, because we obviously, that's how we found you. And we're like, oh my God, we can actually talk to the wardrobe person. Yes, please.
You guys DM'd me and I was like, sure, let's talk.
Yeah,
So
because
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at getting back to people if people want to DM me. I try.
We were amazed and delighted.
Yeah, we were so pleased.
You guys were good. You're persistent.
Thank you.
We do our best. A lot of neurodivergence on this side.
I'm from
of this
Minnesota.
call.
I appreciate a good persistence and work ethic.
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so we definitely want people to follow you on the Instagram.
It's just Allyson Fanger. It's just at Allyson Fanger.
At
just
Allyson
the one
Fanger.
word. Very easy, but it's 2 L's and a Y. So
nice.
Yeah.
Because I think there'll be a lot of people who want to shop the looks.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some quick fire questions. I'm going to pull the wardrobe questions from our Perfect 13 for you, because I would love to hear from you guys. And please, Dana, answer this as well, especially if your answer's different than Allison's. Okay. Out of Tia's teas, right? Here's some examples, right? There's once you go Asian, you won't go Caucasian. Show me your tits. Smells like updog in here. FBI, female body inspector. Gingers are people too. Half Asian is better than none. Is there a tea that you feel like would be yours that Tia would have given to you?
I know mine.
What's yours?
Show me your tits. Because I'm a new mom. Only because I'm a new mom. That's why.
That's perfect.
And that's been my life with a little baby.
I gotta say, when my kiddo was still breastfeeding, that would have been mine as well, because I feel like everyone saw my tits.
Yeah, that's mine for the season of my life. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's right. That baby's got to be fed. It's not going to feed itself.
Yeah.
And congratulations, by the way.
What's mine of those?
Oh, you can pick your own. You probably
I can
know
make
more
up my
about
own.
teas. Yeah, you can. Of course you can. You're the wardrobe queen.
I like
You make
Liz's
it up.
teas.
Yeah. Wait, what's a good Liz one?
I mean, there's so many.
Liz has at least one with the F word on it that is like delightful.
Who's got Don't Be Nice You Jerk was a good one.
That's a great one.
People really like that one.
Yeah.
I could do that one.
That's very Allison.
Yeah.
Is it Don't Be Nice You Jerk? Is
No,
that
Be
one?
Nice You Jerk. Be Nice You Jerk.
I love that phrase.
It's funny.
Okay, so then, all right. So
Do you have a character's wardrobe that you would want to go into and take over?
or maybe that you have that you've stolen from?
I mean, I'm the closest to Liz for sure. I have my own look for sure, but I'm not a full Liz, but I would, if I was going to go in and borrow something for myself, it would be out of Liz's closet for sure. Or Meg.
Yeah.
I do like Meg too. Meg is cute. And you know who else is cute? Sophie's cute.
Yeah, Sophie. Yeah, I was
Sophie's very cute.
Yeah.
I dream of being someone that could go into Gabby's wardrobe, but it's just not me. I don't have the statuesque beauty that, oh man.
It can be. You just got to feel it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Channel that.
Yeah,
Channeling
exactly.
Gabby. All right, what about you, Miss Dana?
I like Tia. I've got like a little boho girly vibe like Tia, even though, we don't see her so much, but the brands she wears are brands I wear, which is like, I like Tia a little bit. I love Meg too.
Yeah.
I love Meg. She's cool.
Meg's a sleeper, right? Because she's Lily Rob's so beautiful that you almost just like write it off to like her ethereal kind of Galadriel-esque quality. And then you realize like, oh no, the clothes are like working with her. Like,
totally.
And then I love
East Coast too.
Yes. And the choice I thought the choice she made for the wedding was so unique with the big sleeves, the bells, those like long, I don't even know what era it's from, Renaissance, or she had like the Ren Fair sleeves, like on that gorgeous
It was like
dress.
a little jacket. We made that jacket.
Oh,
it was like a shirt.
It was a shirt.
Because it was we shot that at night. So it was the dress, right?
Yeah.
We love that dress.
Love the dress.
And we wanted the moment. This is nice. I'm glad you asked about this. Because we wanted the moment. So she's got that flirtatious moment with Jimmy towards the end of the episode. So we wanted to have a flirtatious kind of moment for her to take something off. Also, it was going to be cold a little bit at night. So I wanted a layer for her because they were going to be outside for a long time. And then for her to take it off. So it was a shirt.
It was like a blouse.
Yeah.
And in the fitting, I remember you were like making it shorter, and then it kind of came to fruition that we were gonna like cut. We had our tailors, yeah, and you worked with them and you cut it down the middle and made a short jacket with like with the tie.
Yeah, we like used the piece and then manipulated it to work for our story,
That
basically.
is so awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was
it was
so
cool
unique.
piece. That's
Okay.
La Double J. I love that brand. They
Mhm.
use those fabrics that they use are so beautiful, and it's hard to find a print like that that's so kind of classy,
Mhm.
you know, that works for her, and they do that really well. They use like, I think they base their prints off vintage fabrics. So
Lovely.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
can feel that. Well, I know you guys have a heart out, so I'm going to turn you over to our question that Karina put in here that I think is just probably the smartest question because I think it gives you guys a lot of freedom. So go.
I just would like to know if there's anything that we didn't ask you that you feel would be important to bring up or mention about shrinking or about wardrobe or about anything that you can think of.
I think that the only thing I would want to say to people that are, you know, just watching the show is that there are so many people in my department and everybody is so hardworking and amazing. I have like such an incredible team behind me. And I think sometimes people don't realize how much goes into each character and how much work it actually is to get that look to the screen, you know, right? It's like, just as people watching the show and talking about costumes, like it's not just like getting up and getting dressed in the morning. Like we are dealing with every single component of every single piece of everybody's clothing. And there's like continuity that goes into it. Like, you know, like we shoot out of order. And it's probably boring actually, but like, I don't know. I just like
No,
people
it's-
to recognize that like it is a big job.
It is a big job, and it's the nature of working on a television show is like things change all the time. We're shooting one thing, someone's sick, we have to be really like on our feet. We have to be prepared,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, and we have like I have like a full-time shopper, sometimes more than one. And we've got someone who just is in charge of the budget and the schedule and the team. We've got an entire team downstairs in and out of like shipping and sorting and hanging and steaming and then like the fittings. This is like a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And
So
I think
many
that when
moving
you
parts,
don't know
yeah.
the world, you just because everybody gets themselves up in the morning and gets dressed.
Mhm.
So I think people tend to oversimplify what we do, but it's really massive amount of work. But we love it, and that's why we're here.
And you,
It's the best
you
job.
make it look so good. Really,
Thank
yeah.
you.
People might
It never
not-
feels like work because I love it.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I work so hard, but I love it so much that it never feels like work to me.
Well,
So,
and I will say just, for the listeners that, the first conversation that we had with you, like not only we had reached out to Allison, because we were so excited about wardrobe and
Yeah.
it's been kind of a big thing for us on the show as we've talked about it. And in the first meeting, we got to meet Dana and Kasha, who, does the shopping. And so shout out to Kasha because she didn't get to join us. But I think it's so cool that we said, hey, can you come on the podcast? And you were like, let me bring my team.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Because they're like, I wouldn't be anything without this team. Really. They're so good. And I have one person that literally only does scheduling. I think she never leaves her chair. She only does like scheduling and budgets. She's like a rock of this department. Could not do it without her. Lori DeLapp. Shout out.
Shout out to Lori.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
she keeps us in line.
She does keep us in line.
I was a production manager in my 20s, so I feel
Oh,
that in
you
my
do?
soul.
Okay.
I got you, Lori. Okay, so I have a rando for you, and you can totally feel free not to answer this one. It's from your backstory here, talking about assistant costume designing. What was it like to work on 10 Things I Hate About You? One of the iconic films of our time.
Well, I was very pregnant on that movie, actually. So,
You were the belly.
yeah. But it was cool. It was a cool project. I don't think we realized how cool it was gonna be. Like it became so iconic, and Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles, and yeah, I'm so happy that it's come back around like that. And I'm still close with that costume designer. I just saw her like a couple weeks ago. But yeah, that was the real, we really hit in on the 90s looks of that era, and we were using I remember on Julia Stiles using like vintage vintage and like army pants and like those little tease tanks, and like that was like a very much up, like we definitely hit on 90s, iconic 90s fashion for that.
I just remember with her, like, I'm from a small town in East Texas. So, like, I didn't really fit in where I grew up. And I remember just seeing her on camera in those outfits and being like, that's it. That's me. Like, there I am, like, that's me. Like,
Little rebel girl.
Little rebel girl didn't fit into the perfect princess look. I was always kind of the one in the big cargo pants, right? And it just like listened to rage rock and like just having fun and having the time of my life.
Yeah, those two sisters were like I was an assistant, I was still learning, but I look back on that and I just said that to her when I saw her a month ago. I was like, I learned so much from you. I did, because every job we do is learning. But that was like about the play on the two characters, which I brought into Grace and Frankie and all of it,
I love it. I mean, what a gift you guys are. We're so lucky. And thank you so much for joining us. This was such a pleasure.
Yeah,
this is great.
So fun.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys.
Well, and you can help us. And we always like to say, and that's our time.
And that's our time. And that's our time.
That's our time.
That's our time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you guys.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye,
Bye.
friends. REShrinking is with Karina Cooper and Holly Hurley Feather. This podcast is produced by HHF Strategy and Karina Cooper, and music is by Sean Shank.
Hello, shrinkers. Are you an editor or are you learning editing? Are you looking for a way to practice? Are you a producer looking for a chance to flex your skills on a weekly podcast? Can you either do these things remotely or happen to live in the greater Portland metro area? If so, please reach out to us at reshrinkingthepodcast@gmail.com. We've been producing, editing, hosting, and sociing this pod all on our own. And now we need help. So come and join us in sharing the joy of shrinking. We can't wait to talk with you about it.